is the Global Director for Environment, Natural Resources, and Blue Economy. I was doing this thing last night. What is the blue economy? I'm sure she will tell you what. Before that, she was a manager for advisory and operations in Climate Change Group, where she oversaw the implementation of the World Bank's commitments on climate change, climate mainstreaming, and climate finance. And before that, the practice manager for ENB in Latin America and the Caribbean, where she managed the cross-sectorial team that supported countries and communities on issues related to climate change, sustainable forest management, integrated conservation and development, integrated coastal zone management, fisheries, pollution management, environmental health. I mean, she has done a whole lot, ladies and gentlemen. 19 years ago, she joined the World Bank as a specialist in East Asia and the Pacific, working on environment and world development projects in Cambodia, China, and Laos. Valerie has since worked across the bank's regions, providing design and implementation support to a variety of operations, including in France states, where she led the bank's environmental portfolio in Haiti following the earthquake in 2010. After joining the World Bank team, she became chair of the Blue Economy. Our diversity and wildlife crime communities of practice and convene the bank's deep technical expertise in pursuit of providing policy advice and implementation support to accelerate the role of natural resource management in getting people out of poverty and into the middle class. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a top-notch professional here. Valerie has managed the bank's natural resources and environment risk management portfolio across Europe and Central Asia. Before joining the bank, Valerie worked for War Wildlife Fund, Wildlife Conservation Society, and the U.S. National Park Service, where she worked on invasive species programs in Lake Mead, Reservoir of the Harbor Dome. Valerie is an intellectual scholar. She has a PhD in environmental science and policy from Duke University. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and give her a big applause as she comes to a special reference.
Thank you. Excellencies, Vice President Chief Dr. Taylor, President Dr. Nelson, Minister of Education, the Honorable Councillor Coca, DG Glasgow, friends of the ocean. I have never had more fun sitting on a platform, on a stage listening to speeches. I have never been more energized by listening to passionate people talk about fish. And I've never been more nervous having to follow in the footsteps of these speakers because I'm not funny. Excellencies, there's nowhere I would prefer to be today than here. Yesterday was International Education Day, and to have the privilege of being here in the oldest institution of higher learning in West Africa, to celebrate the launch of the Department of Fisheries and Aquaculture Sciences here at the University of Liberia is not just an honor, it's a privilege, and I thank you for allowing us to do it. Because as you said, Dr. Nelson, this is where minds are molded. This is where the future of Liberia is being created, and that future is blue. But that wasn't always the case. I used to work in Liberia for the World Bank many years ago. The last time I was here was 11 years ago. And at that time, the relationship with the World Bank, when we talked about the environment, when we talked about the economy, we mostly talked about forests. We never talked about fish. So a huge amount has changed in the last decade. But it hasn't just changed for the better. We all know that these past 3 years have showed us how much the world can also change for the worse. because of COVID-19, because of climate change, and because of conflict. Three things that Liberia has had to suffer through more than most countries. The world has become a more dangerous and more difficult place. The development dividends that were created in the past 30 years have not just slowed down in the past 3, many of them have disappeared. Just think about food security. Today, as we sit here celebrating the launch of this new department, there's 828 million people who don't know what they're going to put on their table for meals tonight. Tens of millions of mothers who have to tell their children there's no food tonight. Here in Liberia, 720,000 people who don't know where their next meal is tonight. So this is a world that is more dark for many, many people. But it's exactly because of how complex and how difficult this world has become that we are so incredibly proud to celebrate the launch of this department today. And we are proud for 3 reasons. The first is that the timing is right. The frontier of innovation, of industrialization, and of economic development is on the ocean, including of energy. We're talking about ocean energy these days much more than we're talking about other types of energy. I just want to give you the example of seaweed. You've probably never heard a World Banker talk a lot about seaweed. But seaweed is one of the fastest growing industries in the world. Today it's an industry that's worth $11 billion. And that $11 billion is created by farming seaweed in 2,000 square kilometers. That's 1% of the waters that Liberia has. Think about that. And think about the fact that we've done the analysis, and an industry that's worth $11 billion today is going to be worth $85 billion in 3 years. Liberia's economic exclusive zone, and what you're doing today in launching this department makes sure that Liberia can not only access that market, it can become the leader in that sector. But the time is also right because of what you've heard from DG Glasgow today, and the importance of finally Liberians fishing your own waters and turning that fish into food security, into jobs, and into GDP. Making sure that as Liberia moves from an artisanal fishery to an industrial fishery, that those industrial boats, those processing factories are owned and operated by Liberians. We're also incredibly proud to be part of this partnership because of the fact that this is a cutting-edge program. This is not just about creating a bachelor's degree. This is about creating the best caliber curriculum, the best teachers with access to the best equipment and the best infrastructure. So that not only do the graduates who will be graduating here in 4 years, and I hope you invite me back for that first graduation ceremony, not only will they be the best technical specialists, they will be the people who can take advantage of what exists and who can drive a blue future for Liberia. They can unlock the power of Mother Ocean, and not just for Liberia, but because of the Center of Excellence, for the region, and one day, for the world. Wow. And finally, we're extremely proud to be here for the launch today. Because this isn't about just creating a program where you're going to graduate deep technical specialists who then have to look for jobs. At the same time as they're going to be studying, you have committed to building strong regulations with the leadership of NAFA and new port infrastructure, new fisheries infrastructure, infrastructure, when these students graduate, not only will they find jobs, those jobs will contribute to GDP in a way it never has before. But of course, none of this would have been possible without the leadership of DG Glasgow, without the hospitality of Dr. Nelson, and without the vision of the government of Liberia. So let me end by stealing from what Dr. Nelson said. Long live the Department of Fisheries and Agriculture. Long live the University of Liberia. And long live the great nation and the even greater people of Liberia.
So that was the voice of Madam Valerie Hickey. She is the Global Director of Environment, Natural Resources,
And long live,
Economic
and long
of the
live,
World Bank.
Dr. Valerie Hickey, Global Director of Environment, Natural Resources, and including Economic of World Bank Group. Please give her a big hand of applause. Now you understand why she knows this, because she was saying that.